Hi, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Cage. I'm your host, Jim Graham, and joining me on the line, we have a special guest. He will be fighting July 15th in San Diego, UFC Fight Night, Mir versus Duffy. He is the MoTown Phenom, Mr. Kevin Lee. And Kevin, thanks for coming on Beyond the Cage.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the time.
Now, of course, it's already June here, so summer is coming up. Do you have any big plans for the summer?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go out and get a nice W, and then I'm gonna celebrate it. You know, I'm gonna celebrate it on the beaches of San Diego. You know, nice weather, nice beaches. So, you know, I'm gonna go out and whoop some ass and have a beer or two probably afterwards.
Now, when you're not training, what do you like to do in your spare time?
You know, to be honest with you, I'm kind of a loner. You know, I don't really like to do much in my spare time. I do a lot of fight watching. I watch a lot of fights. I'm a huge fight fan. Not only am I a fighter, but I'm a huge fight fan. So, you know, on the weekends, most of my weekends are spent watching fights with, you know, a couple of my teammates or a couple of friends or stuff like that. But, you know, really, I don't do too much, to be honest with you. I fight, and, you know, that's what I surround myself with.
Now, who are some of the guys currently that, you know, when you hear about the fight, you go, oh, man, they're fighting. I gotta definitely tune in tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of anybody, just because I don't think anybody's special in this game. But, you know, there's a couple guys that you know, I would never miss a fight, you know, like Jolie Aldo. I'll never miss a fight of his, you know. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a fan, but, you know, I always love watching him fight. But in general, I love watching, you know, just the high level guys, you know. It doesn't matter really who they are. It's just, I'm not a fan of either one of, you know, none of them really.
Now, is there anyone that's obviously like not fighting anymore that you kind of grew up watching, and that's kind of one of the people you kind of idolized coming into the sport?
Oh yeah, for sure. George St. Pierre was I think my biggest idol of them all. You know, I'd never gone up to somebody and asked for, you know, an autograph or a picture or anything like that until I met George, and then I was like, oh, fanboys coming out right now. You know, I'm like, I got to, you know. So, you know, I met George up in Montreal, and that was one of the best moments, you know, in my young career at least.
Now, I know, of course, right now you're out in Vegas. You're living there and training there. But, of course, as people know, you're a Detroit native. So how often are you actually able to come back home to Detroit?
You know, I just got the opportunity to go back a few weeks ago, and then I went back for family, you know, during the holidays. Usually when I go back, it's just to see, like, I have a lot of extended family there, you know, a lot of cousins, a lot of aunts, a lot of aunties, stuff like that. So I go back and see them, but for the most part, I don't, you know, not too often, you know. I go back to see my family unless there's a big, like, media obligation or something like that I got to go see. But, you know, but Detroit is still behind me 100%, even though I'm living out here. You know, I'm just doing what I got to do, you know.
Now, I'll save them for future interviews because I don't want to run out of them on the first time I get to interview Kevin. So I'll ask you just a couple Detroit-based questions. First up, and this is the big one that most people, I think, associate with Detroit, American or Lafayette, Coney Island? Which one do you prefer?
American, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really, that is, you know, that is the one thing that I miss most about living in Detroit. I'll be honest with it. Like, when I go back, the first thing I do is I hit up a Coney Island and I go see it. You know, but, you know, I'm going to take it one step further. I don't even think American has the best Coney Island. I'm going to say there's a Coney Island on 7 Mile and Schaefer that is the best, hands down, better than American, better than Lafayette. Number one, you know, they've got a D hotel based out of Detroit here in, Vegas, but they're garbage compared to home.
All right, and the second
nobody does it.
Right, absolutely. The second one I'll ask you, what is your favorite flavor of Faygo Pop?
Orange. Come on. Orange. Yeah, there's no, you know, there's really no comparison. It's either orange or grape, and I think orange beats it out a little bit.
All right, let's get to some more serious questions here. This will be your fourth fight in the UFC. I was wondering, do you keep a lot of your fight night gear or some of the other goodies you get from your fights?
I do. I keep it, but every now and again I will give it out. For my last fight, I gave my walkout shirts to. There was a kid over, and he was from Farmington actually, but his dad reached out to me. He was battling leukemia, and he was a big fan of mine. So I sent him my gloves and my walkout shirt and stuff like that. And I think there's been one or two times before where it was something similar like that, where I just had to reach out to the fan and give it out to him. But for the most part, I've got most of my stuff yet.
Now, do you frame it up all nice, or do you just kind of got it in some extra room in your house and it's in a bag and you haven't looked at it in a while?
Right now, I got them in extra bags. I frame up the posters and stuff like that, but like the gear and stuff like that, I got it in extra bags because a few fights from now, a few years from now, it'll be worth a whole lot more money. So, I'm thinking further on down the line.
Absolutely. As of right now, we're about a month until the weigh-ins there in San Diego. So I was just wondering, how's your weight looking at right now?
Oh, my weight's perfect. I think I just actually posted something on the Instagram about my weight. I started out this camp at a little heavier than usual. I started off at 187. Was what I was 8.5 weeks out, and right now I'm down to 177. So I'm looking good. I'm looking golden, I still got 6 weeks until the fight, so I'm not worried about it at all.
Jim Graham talking with Kevin Lee up ahead of his fight at UFN San Diego on July 15th. And before we get to that fight on the 15th, let's go back to your last fight against Michel Prazeres at UFN Broomfield on Valentine's Day. After a very close first round between the two of you, you really dominated him in the second two rounds. And did you feel like there was an opportunity to finish him in the final two rounds?
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm always looking for. It doesn't always come, but that just comes with experience. But, I was a little upset that I didn't get to finish him in that last round for sure. I thought that I could have, I thought that, it was there for the taking, but, I went for the chokes and stuff a little too late. So, ran out of time. But, for sure. I thought that, he's a big guy. He has a hard time making the weight. And I trained really hard for that fight. I had a 9-week training camp. I made sure I did everything perfect. So, I knew that my cardio, if anything, would outlast him. He was strong in the first, but, after that, most guys will start to fold, and that's where I get stronger.
Speaking of that cardio, obviously that was on full display, on Valentine's Day. Did you do anything special to get ready for the high elevation there in Colorado?
Yeah, I did actually, because I didn't go out early. I didn't go out early like a lot of the other guys. They went out maybe 3 weeks early, something like that, before fight night. I went there the week of the fight because, I had a couple different methods that I used. One was the elevation tents, to get me used to sleeping in high elevation, which is, there's been some studies and stuff done as far as if that's the best way to approach the elevation game. I did that. And there's also mountains around Vegas that I ran runs on and stuff like that are even higher elevation at 7,500 or 7,500 feet as opposed to Broomfield.
Now, is that something you're continuing to do on, for this fight?
Yeah. I go on the mountain runs regardless. I'm not using an elevation tent for this fight because, I don't think it's, necessary. But, I still go on the mountain runs just to get my body accustomed, to being uncomfortable.
Now let's take a look at your fight in July. You're taking on a very exciting fighter in James Moontasri. Was this a no-brainer when this fight was offered to you to fight an exciting guy like that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great opportunity. Especially when you go back and you look at my track record so far. My last two fights were against jiu-jitsu specialists. The last one was against a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. So, and I showed that I can hang on the ground with those guys, and out jiu-jitsu them and almost got to finish in both of them. So, for this one, the kid's a Taekwondo Olympian. So, they said he's been training Anderson Silva to get ready for the Olympics in Taekwondo. So, he's a high level Taekwondo practitioner, but, I feel like I can go out there and I can out kickbox him. I can out Taekwondo him if I feel like it. So it'll be a great opportunity for me to really showcase what I can do, and really showcase my full all-around skills. I don't necessarily have to just take him down and beat him up. I can stand on the feet and outstrike him too.
Now, do you expect maybe some surprises from him come July?
No, I think he's he's tricky. He's a tricky fighter, but there's a point where tricky becomes basic as well. I've got multiple black belts that I work with in Taekwondo already, so I'm not too worried about anything. It's just about me going out there, training hard, and getting it done.
Now, what will you have to do against him to be successful come Wednesday, July 15th?
I'm gonna just be in his face. I'm gonna whoop his ass. That's really it. I don't necessarily have there's really no secret to the fight game. I've learned after being around fighting for so long and watching all these fights, there's no secrets. It's going out there, working hard, and whooping his ass. That's about all it is. This is gonna be a backyard brawl, and he's not gonna be able to stand in a dog fight with me.
Now, the weekend leading up to your fight in San Diego is the huge, big international San Diego Comic-Con, and I was wondering, any chance you're going to go to the convention while you're in town?
Probably not, no. If anything, I'm going to be watching that Aldo McGregor card. I'm going to find a sports bar or something that we're going to do something to watch that card. So, no, probably not. I'm going to be focused on, they got the Aldo McGregor the night before, and then the tough finales on Sunday as well. So I'll probably be all focused on that. I won't even get a chance to get out and really see the city either.
Now, if it wasn't you preparing for a fight, would that ever be something you would try to do? See something like that? That's like the granddaddy of them all, the one in San Diego. But I mean, would that be something you ever do? Go to Comic-Con? Yeah, that's where all the movie stars come. That's where they announce all the Avengers movies and stuff. That's the place to be.
Oh well, hey, I guess I learned something new. I didn't know that. I wish I would have known. I really didn't know that. But maybe. If I was in San Diego just to kind of play around and stuff, why not? Of course.
All right, the main event of your fight in San Diego in the heavyweight division, Frank Mir against Todd Duffy. You got a pick for that one?
Yeah, I got to go with my boy Frank. We train at Drysdale's Jiu-Jitsu together. Frank is really, really strong. And he's a good friend of mine. So, I know Duffy as well. He came out and trained at Extreme a few times, Extreme Couture. But, I got to go with Frank for sure. I think he's has more experience and is the better all around, grappler for sure. So I got to go with Frank.
All right, since I know you're obviously watching a lot of fights, watching them all the time, I'll get just a couple opinions from you coming up here. UFC 188, Cain Velasquez, Fabricio Verdum to unify the heavyweight belt. You have a pick for that one?
Actually that one I think is going to be a lot closer than people give credit for. I think Verdum is actually looked really good lately. I didn't think he would be able to make that kind of comeback that he did. But I still got to go with Cain. I think he'll be able to edge out some of the close rounds, especially with his forward pressure. Judges really like to see a guy move forward. But I think he might eat a few shots as Verdum was moving backwards. So I think it'll be close. But I'll go Cain maybe 4 rounds to 1, 3 rounds to 2, something like that. But it'll be a lot closer than what the judges say it will.
All right, it's the co-main event for UFC 189 welterweight title. Robbie Lawler and Roy McDonald for the second time. Do you think Robbie Lawler is able to keep the belt?
No. I think McDonald will take it from him. I think he'll snatch it from him in a decision. Faraz Zahabi and TriStar, they come up with some really good game plans against guys. And and Roy's one of those guys where he's been known to not really he doesn't shy away from a game plan. He doesn't really fight emotionally, and he doesn't really care what the crowd thinks or anything like that. I think if Robbie can adjust him into a fighter fight, then he can get him. But I think Roy's going to be way too smart. They fought before for the Phenom fight before, so I think they're going to come up with a great game plan to shut him down. Robbie's a champ. Robbie can make those adjustments, but I don't think he'll be able to make them in time. So I'll go McDonald's based on the earlier rounds. He'll sweep maybe the first 3-4 rounds.
All right, you already referenced it. Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, featherweight title, main event, International Fight Week, all that stuff, the world tour they had, and all that. Does Conor McGregor do it? Does he bring the title back to Ireland?
No. Hell no. Hell no. I gotta go with Jose. I think Jose will be able to really showcase his championship experience. He'll be able to calm his emotions out there. And really, I think Conor can be broken. I think if Conor doesn't get him in the first 2 rounds, he'll break, and then Jose will run away with the fight. People say that, or people think that it's more Conor's advantage in the later rounds, but I'm going to give it to Jose in the later rounds. I think Conor will break if he can't finish him early.
He is Mr. Kevin Lee taking on James Moontasri at UFN San Diego Wednesday, July 15th. You can follow him on Twitter at MoTown Phenom. And Kevin, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it, and look forward to your fight in July.
Hey, I appreciate it. Anytime, my man. Anytime. I appreciate the time.
Once again, that was Kevin Lee right here on Beyond the Cage.